All right, so video number 2. Just kind of an update. It's been probably about probably friggin' at least 6-8 months since my last video. Just an update for everybody. 6.5 diesel swapped 69 Chevrolet pickup truck. So one of the things that I have to note is a kind of a failure on this swap so far is my electric fan setup. In the previous video, I was speaking about not having any problems cooling on hot days. Well, that has since been proven me a liar. I used the Summit Racing. I guess they're like a knockoff of the Flexolite dual 12-inch, 12.5-inch fans for my swap. I had them on the small block before and had no problems, but once I started trying to go up hills with them, I started to notice cooling problems. So I quickly learned that they were inadequate at the 2200 CFMs that they currently push. So as of yesterday, I ordered a set of Flexolites. I believe they're the 954 is I think the number. Anyways, they're the 27.5-inch wide dual 13-inch fans. And I paid $403 for them. So double the price, but they're 4900 CFM instead of 2200 CFM, so we'll see how well that works. So before, in my last video, I talked about how I had to make motor mounts in my own pedestals to go around, not so much on this side, but on the opposite side where the turbocharger is, of all the clearance issues you would get on the frame rail, specifically on the back side there. Can't even get a ratchet in there to get them off or anything. So I raised the engine up and used my homemade mounts to raise it up quite a bit, actually, maybe a little bit more than I should have, but I wanted to make sure I got it in there. In the relatively near future, I am going to be changing out that manifold. I'm going to probably make a set of tubular manifolds, TIG weld them up, and hopefully I'll do a video on that. Just do a set of log style manifolds, and that way I'll be able to set it down on a set of factory pedestals. I have a set of factory, aftermarket, but tubular CCP engine mounts in the house that I bought and then realized wouldn't fit. So I'm going to use them once I make a set of tubular manifolds, and that way I'll correct two things. One, the slightly abnormal height of the engine, which has not presented any problems, but I also will be able to move it back, give me a little bit more room up front. Maybe later on down the road I will forego the electric fans completely, put a mechanical in, but that'll be something I address down the road. This thing they don't really pull much more than my quads and stuff with it, so it's not a big deal. Let's see here, anything else for this time around? I got my vintage air kit in. I think I already covered that in the last one. I have noticed actually that I don't need 2 batteries. I did the dual batteries in it, got an original secondary battery tray. They're nice, but if you're doing a swap, I guess you don't really need it. I've had to pull one out to start other people's vehicles before, and then out of curiosity tried starting my truck and started right up with 1 battery, so I guess 1 yellow top is enough. See here. Oh, I actually got, where is it? I think it's over here. There she goes. So it's actually really dirty because it's been sitting outside. I found that the G20, 1990 G20 van radiators for the diesels actually fit just barely. You can fit a dollar bill in between them and the sides, but it has the oil cooler and tranny cooler, and it's factory for a 6.2, 6.5 in a van. So that fits, just barely fits in. Right now it's got a little bit of space with the 350 radiator in there, but I got one that's for the vans because it's meant for the diesel, so I know it's going to be good enough. And this is just a cheap Chinese all aluminum radiator that I have. So we'll see how that goes, and I already know it fits. I just have to make it all go in there. And let's see here. Oh, actually, a couple problems I did have with the swap, but they weren't really swap related. I reused the flex plate flywheel and everything from the engine that it came out of, and it kind of didn't really last very long. It freaking cracked the flywheel, and it ruined the flange on the back of the crankshaft. So I had to put a scat crank in it, and of course, in finding out that my radiator fans weren't good enough, I cracked the cheapy set of heads I had on it, so I have an aftermarket set, one of the better casting, thicker casting heads on it now. And she runs real good. And a couple little leaks here and there, and not a big deal. But yeah, so far so good. Can probably do an HX40 later on with a probably do a HX40 and then put a spool valve on it so that it deflects the air to one side, the exhaust gases to one side, and spools it up faster. But that'll all be later on. 4L80 works great, shifts like a charm. Haven't had any problems with it. And I think I put new gauges in. Since I got it. Since I did the last one. All right, and that's it.